Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we move on to the curtain raiser panel titled The CEO Agenda, Growth Strategies and Reimagining Customer Experience in the Next Normal. We have a power-packed panel with us today, and it's an honor and privilege for me to first welcome the members of this panel. Parag Raja, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Bharti AXA.
Parag, I wanted to come to you on the second part of the topic, which is reimagining the customer experience. And I think the amount of talk which is happening around experience is mind-blowing. Everybody says digital is the solution. And possibly we are into a very unfair comparison where people have started comparing insurance, which is a complicated financial product, with delivery in Swiggy. But that's happening. And customer is the king. Especially when you have new age customers, Gen Z, they see no difference when they purchase a PVR ticket to a life insurance policy. So what are your plans in terms of recreating new age customer experience? And when I say customer, are you also looking at your distributors as your customer? Because obviously the landscape is becoming very interesting. Over to you, Parag.
Thank you, Amit. Good morning to all of you. Good morning to all my fellow colleagues on the panel and to all the viewers. I think, Amit, the question is very interesting, and I'm quite certain that most of our industry colleagues are right now working tirelessly in this particular area. Let me take a few minutes to explain what I think is happening and what can the industry do, and then in particularly what we at Bharti AXA Life are trying to do. You are absolutely right when you say that on one side, while COVID has helped increase the overall awareness levels for life insurance, and there is a tailwind, which we are seeing, at least, I've been in the industry for 2 decades. I haven't seen this kind of a tailwind and heightened awareness before. So on one side, that's an advantage. On the other side, because of the quarantining and the lockdowns, people have also seen a very big structural shift towards adopting digital ways of, any purchase that they do from home. And therefore, today's customer doesn't differentiate between categories. What I mean is, if he wants to order food, if he wants to, hail a cab, if he wants to go for a movie, if he wants to buy online, stuff on the e-commerce platforms, or if he wants to engage with insurance, his expectation is the same. That if I can get a particular service at 3 clicks, then, why shouldn't I get that same experience with insurance as a category? And therefore, the insurance potential customers' expectation has changed dramatically over the last 2-3 years. And we must first and foremost take cognizance of this shift. Now, what does this mean for us, and what are we doing at an industry level? And more importantly, what are we doing in the company? I think there is a huge opportunity for us as an industry. We are a 200-year-old industry. And therefore, by that sheer definition, sometimes some of the old processes do tend to become clunky when it comes to the customer experience. If we today look at our sector, and if I be the devil's advocate, just the onboarding process, our product designs, the way we kind of the paperwork involved in executing the contract, the policy documents and terms and conditions. I think I've seen a huge shift in simplification over the last decade or so, but clearly there is much more to do. And because of the shift in expectation from consumers, every insurance company is looking at how can we simplify all these processes so that it becomes very easy for a consumer, to kind of, talk to this category. When you go deeper and you double click on this, obviously the answer is in data. Traditionally, what has happened in our industry is we've been, if I may say, we've used a model which I call assess and service, which has been, as a customer, if you come to me, I will take all your papers, I will take all your data, your financial documents, I'll get your medical underwriting done, and then I'll issue a policy. So I'm going to assess the risk, and then I'm going to kind of onboard you and then service you through the journey, through the cycle. I think where this is moving, and it's moving at a lightning pace, is a new model which is predict, personalize, engage, and share value. And let me spend 30 seconds on this. People are now going to expect all of us to predict some of the risk management and underwriting practices much before the onboarding process starts. Consumers expect us to personalize. They expect N is equal to 1 as a theory. They do not want a product, a service, an experience which is there for everybody. What are you going to do customize for me? Because that is some of the experiences he's having with other categories. So how are we going to kind of use data by collaborating with multiple agencies? And there's just so much data available now due to, penetration in telecom, internet usage in our country, the stack that the government has created in terms of, Aadhaar linking, bank account linking, and then all these credit bureaus, medical data. And therefore, we are at a cusp as an industry where if we put all of this together in a structured manner and share some of this going forward, then we would be able to predict and pre-assess and pre-underwrite Amit Roy's life before I reach him. And instead of the current process where I go to Amit and I take everything and I go back home and then kind of, do the entire proposal and underwrite the risk, now I'd go to Amit and say, you know what, I've done all this before. There's so much data available on social platforms, and with their permission, if you could use that, telco data, bank data, I could go to Amit and I could say, you know what, we've done ABC things for you, basis your consent. And here is what we think is a great product for you. By the way, we have done the financial underwriting by kind of pinging different bureaus, financial bureaus, and so on and so forth. And here is the sum assured we think, is already underwritten for you. Here is 2 clicks, pay and move forward. Now, that is a very different approach from an assess and service, which seems now like a more reactive thing. It's if I may say, a little old fashioned, to now creating a pre-approved sum assured basis using data scientifically and then creating an offer for you. That's the part where I reach out to you and onboard. Then comes the stage of servicing. Amit Roy likes the option and he comes on board. Now, what am I going to do to create an omni-channel CRM platform where regardless of when I engage with you, through my call center, through mails, through emails, through branches, how do I, store all this data in a manner where I create a unique customer history for Amit Roy, so that next time, 4 years from now, when Amit Roy calls me, I should say, you know what, Amit, thank you. I spoke to you in November or December 2nd of 2021. Your son, say, is Parag. He was 14 and yesterday was his birthday. How was his 18th birthday? Here is the proposal I have for Parag. Would you be interested? Now, this is a very, very different kind of an opportunity, which will help the industry increase penetration in the country. I mean, the opportunity, the numbers that you spoke, Amit, are absolutely right. But, the opportunity is just too huge. At an industry level, just for all our colleagues, we collect about, give or take, 7 lakh crores a year, all insurance premiums put together, life insurance. This is likely to be 4x in this decade. By 2031, we're likely to be at 30 lakh crores. So there's enough. The opportunity is huge. There is still a huge protection gap. Insurance penetration as a percentage of GDP is very, very small when it compares to our size countries or, in the Asian domain. And therefore, I'm very, very bullish. And I'm glad that the consumers and the clients, including Gen Z, are pushing us in that sense to look at our entire IT architecture, our entire digital thinking, and ensuring that all customer journeys are reimagined. And we draw them in a manner which really, really creates an experience where we don't have to, kind of push insurance as a product, but really create a very, very seamless pull opportunity. So that's my view on this.
Thanks, Parag. That's a captivating storytelling on insurance for future. A rapid round for Parag and Kamlesh. Parag, any industry that has to grow has to attract youth, right? So what are your plans for attracting Gen Z? A quick 30-second reply on that.
So there are 3-4 things that we will have to work together at an industry. And I know a lot of our industry colleagues are thinking about this. First and foremost, now, like Prashant mentioned, that the insurance industry has settled. We were a young industry, privatized industry 10, 20 years ago. We were in our teens. Now many of us are in our 20s. Some of us are in our 15s. The hiring and the employment opportunity in our industry is immense, apart from distributors for employees. And I think there is now the time for us to engage right at the root level with universities in the country, with the education system and framework in our country, to pipe ourselves as an industry right there. And in that sense, if need be, also customize and create courses. I know anecdotally there are a few things that are already at play, but it's not like in a very deep framework which has been implemented in conjunction with the industry and the government. I think we will have to first do that, right? So that the inflow and the pool of people who understand insurance, who want to build a career in insurance, and there are many different parts of the insurance company in which one can build its career. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there are certain areas which are specialized functions in our industry, actuarial, underwriting, and some of these also there is a demand supply gap today in our country. And therefore, what do we do here again systemically to kind of build a very robust pipeline? And finally, I think the youth which is coming into the sector today, they are looking for very different ways of working. People will want to work from home. Some people want to work from office. Some people want a hybrid option. So these are flexibility. Remote working is becoming the way of life. So how do you plan for it? How do you create an enabling ecosystem for employees to kind of flourish in this way? Employees also have a lot of changing requirements when it comes to support, when it comes to what are you going to do apart from work to help me pursue some of my other personal, spiritual, physical goals. Yes. And how are you going to enable as an organization versus just talking about some numbers or some outcomes? And therefore, a more integrated and balanced lifestyle. How does the sector kind of create this? And this is, I think, something that all of us are again kind of thinking very seriously about. And finally, the last point, Amit, is because of this COVID and pandemic that we are facing, some of the best universities in the country and in the world are now available. Programs are available online at dirt cheap prices. So what do we do as a sector to invest in the development of the people that we are getting? How do we kind of ensure that we create very sharp assessments and talent passports and expose these people and invest in them so that they can in turn become future leaders of the industry? Those are some of my thoughts when it comes to acquiring and retaining talent at an industry level.